What has happened in the last century that is so important for us? Until the end of the 20th century, last century, we, the best science in Western society thought and theorized that our brain was very limited organ. It will grow up to our puberty, 12 to 16 years old, but once it's formed, it's completely grown at that age. We kind of stuck with it. That's what we got, and that's what we have to deal with, without possibility to interact with the same, and the brain considered to be a static organ, not able to change. Luckily for us, by the end of last century, and thanks to new technologies such fMRI and EEG, electroencephalogram, we were able for the first time in history to scan and see the activity of a brain of a living organism. Animals first, humans after. This is today a very normal thing, but thanks to that, the science had to completely, Western science had to completely change from a theory to a empirical fact that the brain is not static, it's highly dynamic, it changes all the time from the day we're born till the day we die, that we have some sort of connection with it, and that we have some cognitive ability which we can use to interact and use our brain for studying, developing, improving, planning, creating, etc. That's the conscious part of the brain. That's our frontal cortex. The very important fact is that we are not stuck with this beautiful thing. This beautiful thing, it's very hard to understand. Apparently we know very little yet, and yet with the little we know, it's kind of a lot of information to update and just let it in, absorb it. Science had to come out with a term that's neuroplasticity to define, or actually to define the capacity of the brain to change. So to confirm is highly dynamic abilities. Where do I want to go with this? Well, if neuroscience has figured out that the brain is dynamic and is able to change, and that we can, the more we know, the better we will be able to use it properly. In therapies, those who work with other people, whatever is the new model of therapy used, in my case it will be NLP, I can see the theory of neuroplasticity in practice. If it's possible for me, doing work on myself, to change a belief and completely swap it from a belief which is not serving me to a belief that does. Let's say I don't believe I am kind, but it's just a generalization. I don't believe that because I just decide inside my brain through this event in my life that I'm not kind, and after a little bit and knowing what to do in the brain, changing that generalization and now believing that I am kind, and that at that point, from that right point, when I understand and I turn the belief upside down and I change my generalization, all of a sudden I will start acting as a kind person according to my values, as if I always been kind. And I just use one word, but it can be anything. It can be any sort of quality of values which we, because of life experience, the community we lived around, the kind of people and society that we've been taught by, we maybe created a belief that today doesn't match with our personality as a grown up. The point is that luckily neuroscience says the brain can change. Alternative therapy proved it. It's a great time for all of us because we know that we are not stuck with our old set of belief and with our own limitation. What we are today doesn't mean that we're gonna have to be tomorrow. I hope you like the video.